They were four friends, once on top in the 80s.
Actually, we are shooting something that you'll see soon. We're shooting a little documentary because, believe it or not, this is our 40th year.
We're pimply 13-year-olds.
But a good thing can't last forever.
Hey, 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 hey! Won't you come see about me? I'll be alone, dancing, you know it, baby. Tell me your troubles and
Sincerely yours, Mad World Orchestra.
Don't you forget about me. Don't you forget about me.
Back to the Choir Nice days, man. So I really taught myself guitar. Again, remember, we didn't have YouTube, you know, so I learned the chords of these songs, and once I knew enough chords, I figured I have to get in a band. You know, and that's where the story of the band starts. At the time, I had a girlfriend who we would hang out at her friend's house, her best friend's house, Rena. Well, it turns out Rena's brother, Rene, was also my age. So he would play piano and he was playing guitar, and he also wanted to be in a band.
I mean, at the time, we would go to dances, you know, at Belen, at Columbus, and we'd watch these other bands play. And we say, man, I would love to do that.
And that's where the band started.
To treat me like you do when you laid your hands upon me.
So here I am hanging out with my girlfriend at her friend's house, but her brother is a musician. So I quickly put all of them aside and said, you guys go jump in the pool, I'm gonna go hang out with Rene.
How does it feel? How should I feel? Tell me, how does it feel?
He also played guitar and I played guitar, so we figured we can't have that. We can't have two guitars in the band. And I wasn't about to give up guitar. What I did was I looked at bands, and every band had a guitarist, a bassist, and a drummer. So I told Rene, dude, you gotta play bass. And then we went in search of a drummer.
So they called me and they wanted to set up an audition for me. They came to my house. I remember we did it in my bedroom at the time where I had my drums set up.
And he had a black and white striped drum set. And it was like a zebra drum set. And man, he knew how to play already.
They were happy with what I did at the time.
After recruiting Juan, Rene and Joel decided to have their band's first rehearsal.
The next day, because that was on a Saturday, the next day on a Sunday, Wolf took his drums to Rene's garage, Rene's house. We set up the drums, I set up my guitar, Rene set up that new bass that we had just purchased, and we started to play.
You are now witnessing the first practice and rehearsal of Illusion.
And Rene, on the video, you can see Rene like, looks at me like, where'd that come from? I'm like, boom, and we started playing. I was actually performing for the camera, just weird. But so we played like 4 or 5 songs that we knew, and man, it quickly grew from there. After the first rehearsal, Rene said, Illusion's a stupid name. I know. And then Eruption, the name Eruption came about, and that was the name that stuck with us even to this day. We named the band Eruption in 1982. And that came from 2 things. One, at the time, and still am, my guitar hero was Eddie Van Halen. And he had a famous song on his first album called Eruption. And then also the word eruption just, you know, conveyed this idea of, you know, an explosion of music. So we quickly decided Renee should be the lead singer. Renee or Wolf, somebody said, hey, there's a guy, he's a little bit younger than us, but he plays guitar. Maybe we can teach him to play bass. Now, he was actually chosen because at the time, he was like the best looking guy in the school. So like all the girls were crazy about this guy. We thought, bro, we get that guy on stage. Awesome, we're just gonna add to, just teach him how to play bass. So that's the story of Carlos Lamas.
Carlos's addition led to a newfound success that the band would never forget.
And that just propelled us. We started getting every dance, to the point that these other bands who we have become friendly with now, were like, man, why is Eruption getting all the gigs? And we were just better and louder and crazier, and we appealed to the people, and they cheered loudly for us, and they stayed quiet when the other bands were performing.
Although the band was thriving, a difference in opinion about the future of Eruption put the band in jeopardy.
Renee took over the lead singing duties. Immediately, he grabbed the microphone and just jumped to the front of the stage and just screamed at the crowd and just got into it, And I took a step back and just concentrated more on my playing. And the four of us were a band until about '86. And that's when Eruption took a pause.
I started to hang out a little more with the underground scene, in the sense of that I ended up wanting to do just be in a band that wrote their own music. And I think that drove a big wedge between, everyone. And that was a hard decision to make, only because, we were already popular for doing other people's music. In the end, we all ended up being in different bands for a little bit and not see each other for like 10 years.
It's a natural progression of growing up, It's why relationships end in many cases. I've never considered it to have been a bad situation or anything of resentment or anything like that.
During this break, everyone sought out their own paths in life.
I was working at an ad agency as a interactive project manager.
I moved to Boston and I went to Berklee College of Music. And at Berklee, I really dove into music.
I left music altogether.
Carlos, we actually never saw him again. Eruption was a thing of the past. It was like, okay, that's over. Wow, it was fun, It was fun while it lasted. And then came the call. Juan Toro, who was our sound man back in the high school days, sadly, he passed away a few years ago, and we miss him very much. He called, and he said, hey, St. Brendan's class of '86, imagine if Eruption could play. And I was immediately up my ears. I was like, dude, are you serious? He says, can you imagine if we can get you and the band, get Eruption to play St. Brendan's 20th year reunion and play the same songs you guys used to play at our dances? We're like, okay, let's do it.
So Renee and Joel kept their musical dreams alive and took to the stage once more.
We're gonna do one more song, Little Police. End it with our favorites, right?
It's never too late, and that is kind of like the motto or the moral of this story.
Though I've tried before to tell her of the feelings I have for her.
Is that, we were just kids.
I just lose my nerve as I've done from the start.
We really just wanted to have fun. We played the music that we wanted to play.
Every little thing she does is magic.
It was 2 great times in my life. I made great friends that hopefully will last a lifetime.
Every little thing she does is magic. Everything she do just turn me on.
I think for anyone who loves playing music, you can never shake it. It's something that you're going to do your whole life.
It's never too late, right? I mean, who's to say?
Thank you for coming out, everybody. Please stick around. We're Mad World Orchestra. 80s, all the time, all day.